In this video, I'm going to talk to you about a software that I use in my business that is awesome and automates your business. If you are in the service industry, this is definitely something that you want to consider. Now, you may already know of the software, but you might be limited in the way that you're thinking about using it. So it's basically a scheduling software, but in this training, I'm going to show you how you can use it to grow your audience and get more income into your business and automate the whole process. So let's get into it. What am I going to show first? Okay, first, let me just show you the different scheduling softwares that I would recommend. It doesn't really matter which company you go with. I use one, but you could use another. So let's just quickly go into what some of your options are. So right here we have Calendly, and Calendly is a scheduling software. I'm sure you heard of it before, but we're going to take this software that's anywhere from $12 to $14, automate it so that it can help you grow your leads in your service-based business. So if we look at Calendly's website, what I want you to, or any software that does scheduling, what I want you to make sure is, first, let's look at the pricing. And for Calendly, it is $12 a month, which is not bad. And this is what you need to look for specifically. Whatever scheduling software you go with, you want to make sure that it offers group events. See this right here? This is creating a group event. Now, why is that important? Because I'm going to show you in a bit, I'm going to kind of draw out a funnel for you so you can see how it works. But if you just wanted to have a consulting business and you wanted to just schedule appointments or schedule workshops, you can do that with, in this case, a $12 software. And I'm going to show you Acuity, which is the software I actually use. Now, again, they both do the same thing. It really just depends on what your life is and how you want it to work. But when we go to pricing, I use this one because the others are just saying if you have multiple locations, because usually people use this software if let's say you're a yoga instructor or you do some type of service and you're scheduling people, which is great. But the fact that it has this group classes component is really where this software shines. So let's see down here, you see you can sell subscriptions and memberships and gift certificates. I don't know if Calendly offers that, but that's been a service that Acuity has always offered. And here, Google Meets, Zoom, and GoToMeeting integration, if you can see that right here. And if the YouTube thing is not big enough for you to see, just go ahead and hit the square at the bottom that makes it nice and large for you. So why is this important? Well, you can use this software, which is what I do, for workshops. So many of you know, I already told you I have your first $1,000 workshop that I'm doing next week. If you're interested, the link is in the description. So what I do is I use workshops to get audience into my funnel, and then they stay with me based on the information that I teach. So you can do this in any industry you're in. Okay, so let me give you a bit of a diagram for this to make a little bit more sense. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to start to build your audience. Okay, remember when I talk about building online income, getting your audience is going to be super important. And you can do these in a variety of ways. You can do speaking events. You can go on YouTube, my favorite. LinkedIn, if your audience is more of a corporate type of B2B. Yeah, B2B. LinkedIn is probably going to be a better option for you. Of course, there's Quora, there's Pinterest, whatever it is that you want to do to get your audience. Now, I don't recommend you try doing all of these, okay? Just pick 1 to 2. YouTube is my main source, and I also use Instagram a little bit. I also do some, I'm guests on podcasts and some other stuff, but the ones that I proactively work with are YouTube and Instagram, okay? So after that, again, sorry, I only forgot that part. This is where you're going to build your audience. So once you build your audience, you are going to send them to your scheduling software. Okay. So the benefit about this software is you don't have to have a website. Once you create your schedule and what you're going to do, the software will give you a link. Just like if you want to attend my class next week, there is a link. That link was provided by the scheduling software. So you don't have to have a website. And the reason why I'm showing you this is because I feel like people don't take action because they feel like they have to invest in a website and they have to do this and do that. You don't. You just need to create content in your industry, be valuable, and then you can create these workshops. So let me show you. All right, so you have your scheduling software. You are going to schedule a workshop. when you schedule a workshop, it's really going to depend. You have two ways of doing it. You can do paid workshops, which is what I do. But if you are in the finance field, if you're an attorney, if you have some type of professional services, most likely you're going to have to do a free workshop, because you all who are like certified in certain things, you are held by like professional services board, like the bar association and all this other stuff. So you can't charge for the education you put out there. So you typically have to do a free workshop. And that's okay. You can use free workshops to get people into your funnel so they can learn more about you and your services, okay? So if you are in the case where you're an accountant, you're a CPA, any financial professionals, any insurance, attorneys, we all know you have a certain level of liability that some of us don't have. So, but check with your people before that, okay? So with that, you're gonna do a free workshop. But for someone like me, I do a paid workshop. Now, usually some may ask, what price would you charge for your workshop? And it really just depends on what your ultimate goal is. So if you want to get more people in the door, but you want to just make sure that they're paying something, so this is kind of separating them from the people who just want free information, then you can make it a nominal fee and then teach what you have to do within that hour. I usually do 90-minute workshops. And so when you do these workshops, you really need to know your industry, because you want to make sure that you're teaching something that people in the industry really want to know and that you give them a quick win. So a lot of times in your industry, you may know how to do a variety of different things, and it can overwhelm someone who's coming in there. So if you can give your customer a win in about an hour, it's perfect. And workshops, unlike courses and that type of thing, they're really easy to pull off, and it doesn't take that much time from you or your client. So these also work well with new audiences. Now, here's the great thing about the software. I see someone's asking, which is the software? Acuity is the software I use, but you can use any calendar software that automatically sets up your Zoom links and takes payment. So Acuity or Calendarly, they accept the payment. It creates the Zoom link or Google Meets or whichever software you decide to use. It emails the link to the people who are signing up. It sends email reminders, and it does email follow-up for $14. You can't beat that. Basically, you set it up once, you give a link, you advertise the link, and then you sit back and you wake up to appointments. If you're just doing it for consulting. But again, I'm pushing you to do it for workshops, okay? So what else? All right. Okay. So you can, if you just have a consulting business and you want people to just pay hourly, they can do that. Or you can also create consulting packages. So this is basically how it works for me. I do a workshop probably once a month. And in that workshop, I may do it for 2 days. I also have an email list. Many of you are on my email list. So I usually send that I'm going to do a workshop, what the topic is going to be, to my email list first. And then I make it public to YouTube and Instagram. So I usually charge anywhere from $27 USD or euros to maybe no more than like $37. So it is a small enough amount that if someone is new, they don't feel like they had to get hit over the head with paying for this $200 course or this $1,000 course. They know that at the end of this workshop, they're going to know how to do something when they leave, and it's an hour. Now, how else does this benefit? At the end of that, particularly if there was someone who has never met me before, but they attended the workshop, I gave them something that they can use and implement into their business. So that makes them more likely to want to consult with me on their personal business after the workshop is over. So I want you to really start to think about how you can apply this in your business. If you are doing, you can use the software for yoga classes. You can use the software for any class that you can think of in your industry. And it gives people a sneak peek of working with you. And then you can sell either a higher service, or you could just stop. You could just do workshops once a month. I forgot that I do this because I don't use this for many of you know I have a digital marketing company. So I don't use that for the other business. And someone has sent me an email, and I appreciate it when y'all send me emails and you tell me where you're stuck. So you don't have the website, you don't have all these things. How can you get started making money online? And I thought about it, and I was like, well, how do you? And that's what I was like, oh man, you could totally do this. Now, full disclosure, I use this software in addition to 2 other softwares, but you don't have to do that. And if you want me to tell you about it, I will. But I just want you to stay here in this zone. Don't make this more difficult. You have a calendar software. You set up your classes. You just provide your content. The call to action, even if you don't have a website, is the link to your workshop or a link to schedule time to work with you personally. Okay, that's it. All right. So then from that, you can use the same software to deliver and accept payment for your hourly consulting or for your packages. So this software helps you bring in the leads, help the leads pay for it. They deliver everything to them, and it's all automatic. So the benefit of this is that before, people usually were using like webinar software. Webinar software is almost $100 a month, and it only does a webinar. And there's times, especially when you're just starting out, you may not have enough people for a whole webinar, and then to put a capital outlay of $100 can be a bit much. So in this case, it's literally, if you use Calendarly, it's $12. If you use Acuity, it's $14. If you care why I use Acuity versus Calendarly, it's just at the time, Acuity basically started off before, they were like the number one people at the time, and it integrates very well with a lot of other software. I use about 9 different softwares in my business because I like things to be automated. So that is why I use Acuity. But again, don't even worry about that. Pick the one you like. It does not matter. You just want to make sure that it has the ability to do group courses or classes or workshops, basically. So it's just a workshop. So, all right, let me get my face off of this. So here's the benefit of doing the workshop calendar method. The first thing is you don't have to have a website. So for those of you who don't have a website and you are just not starting because you don't have a website, now you need to stop, okay? Now you don't have to purchase expensive software. Like I just said, in most cases, you have to purchase like a webinar software that is like $100 a month. Now you only set this up once and then you don't have to touch it again. So it's super, super easy. The reminders, the follow-up, everything are automatic. Now you are going to have to write that out initially, but once you set it up, you don't have to mess with it anymore, okay? You don't overwhelm your client. So you may have clients that you worked with before, and you may think you want to create this large, drawn-out course for them, but what can you give your clients a win in an hour? Or 90 minutes or 2 hours. Your clients are probably busy. They don't want to be sitting for full weeks worrying about some course. And so you don't have to do that either. So it kills the overwhelm for you and your clients, and it doesn't make this drawn out sales process. Now, you give your clients a quick win and they get to test things out. And it helps sell other products that you may have in your business. So let's see. All right. Also, not time consuming for you or your clients. And that's really one of the most important things, because if you're still working, you don't want to have this drawn out process that if you have to work and do your side thing that is so drawn out and you get so overwhelmed that you just don't end up doing anything. So that's really it is that basic. So let me just also invite you next week on the 16th and 20th, I'm teaching a live class. I will go over the implementation of the method I just talked to you about. In addition to, you'll get the training videos and look over that and see how to implement it with the Acuity software. I don't do it for Calendarly because I don't use Calendarly. Not that anything's wrong with it. It's just not the software I use. So I will show you how to set those up, how to set up your emails and that type of thing. And I'll also, for those of you who don't actually have a product or a service, I'm going to show you what you can do in order to sell and get income, even if you don't have your own products. But you have to have expertise in a particular industry. Okay, that makes sense. And then, of course, I'll give you the strategy to make your first $1,000 online. So we're going to open up for Q&A for those of you who are here with me live. If you have any questions as this can relate to your business, type it in the chat. I'll look over that. And until people don't have questions anymore, then I'll hop off.